Fear is one of the most powerful and primal human emotions, deeply rooted in our evolutionary history. It triggers instinctive responses designed to protect us from danger, whether real or perceived. Few fictional creatures exploit these instincts as effectively as the Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise. Designed by H.R. Giger and brought to life by Ridley Scott, the Xenomorph is a masterpiece of biological horror, tapping into deep-seated psychological fears that resonate on a subconscious level. This essay explores how xenomorphs exploit our primal fears through their design, behavior, and the narrative structures in which they appear. By examining concepts such as the uncanny valley, body horror, fear of the unknown, and survival instincts, we can understand why these creatures are so deeply terrifying. 1. The uncanny valley and biological horror. One of the most unsettling aspects of the xenomorph is its design, which exists in the uncanny valley, a concept in robotics and psychology where something appears almost human but not quite, evoking revulsion and fear. While xenomorphs are not humanoid, their biomechanical aesthetic blends organic and synthetic elements in a way that feels wrong to the human brain. H.R. Giger's artwork, which inspired the xenomorph, merges human and insectoid features with mechanical structures, creating a creature that is both familiar and alien. This fusion triggers a deep discomfort because it violates our expectations of natural biology. The xenomorph's elongated head, metallic sheen, and lack of visible eyes make it difficult to categorize. Our brains struggle to process it, heightening fear, body horror, and violation. Xenomorphs also exploit fears related to body horror, the terror of the body being invaded, corrupted, or transformed against one's will. The creature's life cycle involves forced impregnation, the facehugger, parasitic gestation, the chestburster, and violent metamorphosis into an adult. This process mirrors real-world fears of disease, parasitism, and loss of bodily autonomy. The infamous chestburster scene in Alien 1979 is particularly traumatic because it subverts the idea of birth, a typically life-giving process, into something grotesque and deadly. This violation of the human body plays on deep-seated anxieties about infection, pregnancy complications, and helplessness against internal threats. 2. Fear of the unknown and the dark. Human beings are naturally afraid of what they cannot see or understand. Xenomorphs capitalize on this fear by being shrouded in mystery. In the first Alien film, the creature is rarely shown in full, lurking in shadows, vents, and corridors. This obscurity forces the audience's imagination to fill in the gaps, often conjuring something far worse than any visual effect could depict. The darkness as a psychological weapon. Darkness has always been associated with danger in human psychology. Our ancestors feared the night because predators lurked beyond the safety of firelight. The Alien films used lighting masterfully. Xenomorphs strike from the shadows, their movements unpredictable. The famous motion tracker's beeping sound in Aliens, 1986, heightens tension because it signals an unseen threat, playing on our instinctive dread of ambush predators. The unknown origins of the xenomorph. Another layer of fear comes from the xenomorph's inexplicable nature. Unlike many movie monsters, its origins are never fully explained. It is a perfect organism, seemingly designed only to kill. This lack of understanding makes it more terrifying because our brains crave patterns and explanations. The xenomorph defies categorization, existing outside natural evolutionary logic, which makes it feel even more alien and threatening. 3. Primal survival instincts: fight, flight, or freeze. Fear triggers instinctive survival responses: fight, flight, or freeze. Xenomorphs are engineered to exploit all three, making them nearly unbeatable foes. The ineffectiveness of fight. Humans are hardwired to fight threats when cornered, but xenomorphs are nearly indestructible. Their acidic blood makes physical attacks suicidal, and their exoskeletons resist bullets. This nullifies the fight response, leaving characters and audiences feeling helpless. The futility of flight. Xenomorphs are faster, stronger, and more agile than humans. They climb walls, move silently, and hunt in packs. Running is almost useless, amplifying the terror of being pursued by an unstoppable predator. A fear rooted in our ancestral nightmares of being chased by beasts. The paralysis of freeze. When fight and flight fail, humans often freeze, a defensive response to avoid detection. Yet xenomorphs hunt using multiple senses, making hiding nearly impossible. Their ability to appear suddenly, such as the infamous medbay scene in Alien, Isolation, triggers jump scares, exploiting our startle reflex. 4. Social and psychological isolation. Fear is amplified in isolation. The Alien films often strand characters in claustrophobic environments. A spaceship, a colony, a prison, with no hope of rescue. This plays on fear of abandonment. Being left alone with a monster is a universal nightmare. Distrust among survivors. The xenomorph's ability to mimic environments, as seen in Alien, Resurrection, or use humans as hosts creates paranoia, eroding social bonds. The inevitability of death. Unlike slasher villains, xenomorphs cannot be reasoned with. They exist only to kill, creating existential dread. 5. Sexual and Freudian fears. H.R. Giger's designs were deeply influenced by psychosexual imagery, and the xenomorph embodies Freudian fears of repressed sexuality and violation. Phallic and yonic symbolism. The xenomorph's head is often interpreted as phallic, while its drooling inner jaw suggests both oral and genital threat. The facehugger's method of attack is sexually violent, forcing itself onto victims in a grotesque parody of intercourse. Fear of forced penetration. The chestburster's emergence mirrors fears of invasive surgery, rape, or malignant growths. Reproductive horror. The xenomorph queen in Aliens introduces a matriarchal terror, where reproduction is industrialized and devoid of nurturing, evoking fears of losing control over one's body. Conclusion. Why xenomorphs are the ultimate horror. Xenomorphs are terrifying because they exploit fundamental human fears on multiple levels. Biological disgust. Their design violates natural anatomy. Fear of the unknown. They are unpredictable, unstoppable, and incomprehensible. Survival instincts. They render fight, flight, and freeze responses useless. Isolation and paranoia. They force victims into psychological torment. Psychosexual horror. They embody repressed fears of violation and forced reproduction. By combining these elements, the xenomorph becomes more than a movie monster. It is a manifestation of humanity's deepest, most primal fears. It is not just a predator. It is evolution's perfect nightmare, designed to exploit every instinct that once kept our ancestors alive. And that is why, decades after its creation, the xenomorph remains one of the most psychologically terrifying creatures in horror history. Final word count. This essay covers the psychological mechanisms that make xenomorphs uniquely frightening, drawing from evolutionary biology, Freudian theory, and horror aesthetics. Let me know if you'd like any expansions or refinements.